Okay, we're going to talk about the Wi-Fi mode. So to get into Wi-Fi mode, take your Blingboard or BlingBox like we've got in this case, and you press and hold the shift lock and W. You hold it down for about 3 seconds and then it'll flash yellow at you like that. At this point now, the keyboard has the Wi-Fi enabled. Normally we don't enable the Wi-Fi. It makes no sense to do so, to burn power, just sitting there doing nothing. Okay, now that we've got the BlingBox in Wi-Fi enabled mode, we go over to our machine where we want to connect to. I'm going to use a Windows machine. So I'm going to go to the Wi-Fi settings and I am going to locate BlingBox. And you can see that in my case there's dash 6540. So that is the last 4 digits of the MAC address. So just in case you have multiple BlingBox or Blingboard64s in the same room, like at a convention or something, this will distinguish each one of them independently. So you enter in, once you click on it, you can see there's a box that pops up. It says to enter the network security key. And so I'm going to enter in the password for it, which is CBMSTUFF. So CBM stuff, all lowercase. And I'm going to click on it and it's going to connect. And when it does, the BlingBox will actually blink at you 3 times in cyan, much like it did yellow. And now we are connected. So at that point, we can go pull up a browser. And let me go grab one real quick. Okay, we got the browser pulled up. And then we're going to enter in the URL of the BlingBox 192.168.4.1. Now you only need to do this if for some reason you don't have a captive portal that automatically activates, which is the case with Windows and I guess iOS devices mainly. It doesn't do. Other devices like Android and stuff will pull up automatically, so you don't need to invoke a browser. It does it for you. But we'll go ahead and enter that in, and now presto, we've got the configuration for the BlingBox. So you see at the top of the screen we have 4 different tabs up here. We have an LED, macros, keyboard, and firmware. So we'll go through these one at a time. And what we've got here is the LED pattern. And much like you saw with the other videos where you can use the keyboard to turn on and off the patterns and all the functions, this can do everything right from this menu. So you can use your phone, a tablet, your PC, Linux, whatever you like to use to control it, as long as it's got a Wi-Fi connection and no router is required. It's a direct connection to the device. So if we go to the LED pattern, you can see these are all the ones that we're familiar with because of the other videos where I had walked through each one of them. And when you select one, it automatically in real time will pop up with the colors for the pattern on the keyboard immediately. So you look at, you can do your brightness changing, your animation speed of this can change, and then your key actions, which is what we saw when you hold down the key, what it's going to do, including the colors. You can change the colors of the key action. If you're in a pattern that's like the solid pattern, you can actually change the color of the, the solid color of the pattern if you want to be whatever. If you're on an iOS device and you move your finger around, this actually updates the keyboard in real time. On Windows, you have to actually exit out of the color picker first before it selects the color. So I'm going to put this back to a blue. There we go. And I can change the brightness up and down. So the other options that you can do on here that you cannot do normally is that you can change the shift lock color for the on as well as the off. And the reason why you would change the off is maybe you've got a solid pattern, like it's a solid blue, and you want the shift lock also to be blue instead of being off, because otherwise it's just blank right there in that particular keycap. So if you set this to be the same color blue, then it would match when you've got the shift lock off. You can change the brightness level of the shift lock, and I have it on the BlingBox here We don't actually have an LED, but I left the controls for it because it's actually able to control this from the motherboard itself inside the board. So I figured, man, maybe someday if we want to make an option to drill a hole in the BlingBox case to put an LED in, we could do that. So I just left the code in there to handle that. Another thing you can do on here that you cannot do through the standard keyboard interface is the keyboard blanker. And what the keyboard blanker is the basically like a screen blanker. So after so many seconds, and you can program, it will actually do a pattern. So you can have it do any of these patterns, including random, which is something that's not available on the LED pattern normally. So you set it for random. You can set the time to be sleep timer to be how many seconds you want. And if you don't touch the keyboard, during that 60 seconds for this example, then the blanker will come on and it will show the, like in this case, a random. But if you wanted to be like the outrun pattern, it would show the outrun pattern if nothing's touched the keyboard in 60 seconds. As soon as you touch it, it eats that one key and then it goes back to normal. So you could actually have the keyboard patterns off and just have this basically reminding yourself that the keyboard's off. You can set it for like 300 seconds, which is 5 minutes. And now after 5 minutes, the keyboard's going to pop on with a screen blanker for what you want. So that's pretty nifty features. Okay, so that's it for the LEDs and the macros. So we talked about macro programming in the other videos. So these are your slots that are in there. So there's actually 10 macro slots you can use for recording and playing back. And if you've made a macro for a slot, it'll pop up here inside the window here, this little box. And so you'll see is unlike a standard 64, there's no custom characters that are available here because it's a Windows PC and we can't do like an inverted heart symbol on a PC. So what I've done is that it actually converts all those into character strings. So if you were to do something like, let's see, 10, print, quote, and then a reverse heart, which is clear screen, to do that same thing, you could actually enter in character string 147 like this. And notice it actually talks about that at the top here to remind you, a little cheat up here. So that would give you the inverted heart. So that would do a clear screen. So it would be a print clear screen, and then hello, and then a quote, and then you could do CR, which means a return, and then 20 go to 10, and then CR. So now if you save this, the macro will now be available on the keyboard. If you were to do, this is macro 0, slot 0, so you would do a shift, lock, shift 0, and that would actually type out this whole program, which is a program basically, and it would enter it in just like you had typed it by hand. And you could run it. In fact, if you wanted to make it run automatically, you could simply do run and then character turn like that, and then save it. So that would give you, the ability to automatically enter a program and run it. So we have 10 slots, like I said. There's a macro interval up here, and I may end up removing this. It's just how fast it types the macro out. And this really kind of matters between PAL and NTSC because NTSC machines are much faster than PAL machines. So you can get away with shorter times where you can't on PAL. So I may end up getting rid of this because it's still very fast compared to you typing manually. So if you want to get rid of your macro, you can hit the clear, or you can do clear all. So I can do clear all the macros all together, and it clears them all out of here. And again, this is all real time too, once you're connected. So down here we've got a box. This is one of my favorite features that I added. So this is a paste and type to the 64. So whatever you type in here, and you hit type to 64, it actually sends it to the 64 just like you were typing it. The cool thing about this is if you find a basic program listing online or from a magazine that you scanned in and with OCR, you can actually copy and paste the entire listing into here and type it to the 64. Now, it'll convert the cursor keys, it'll convert the clear home, but it won't convert everything. So you may have to do some conversions yourself in here, but it's pretty good about it. but it would save you, hours of typing. Literally, you just copy and paste right into it, and that would give you the ability to cheat. So, neat feature. Okay, let's go to the keyboard and talk about it. So, in this video, we set the keyboard type on power up to C128D. You can change that to be a 64 or SX64, either way. The scan rate is something I'll probably end up getting rid of as well. This is how fast the keyboard is scanned. Right now it's scanned at 100 times a second, which is overkill because we can't type any faster than 22 characters per second with an NTSC machine. So it's even slower than that with a PAL machine. So we might get rid of that at some point. So if you move the mouse over top of any of these keys, you're going to notice that there's data down here. And if you were to click on one of these, it's going to pull up a box that's going to show you information about that particular key. So for example, it's left arrow, it's in matrix 1, and you can see the cross-point address in here, and you notice that you can't actually modify anything in here because it doesn't have the ability to save anything yet. In fact, this won't even save. It just ignores it because this is a standard key map. And that key map is a preset for Vice. And there's a preset for Mr. And then we have a custom one as well. And that's in the 128 mode. In the C64 mode here, we actually have the ability to have V64 as well in here. So we'll put this back to 128. You're supposed to reboot the keyboard. It's a good idea to reboot it. I'm not going to for this demo. So if you want to have a custom map for Mr., then you can say yes. Now that automatically works with Mr. Mr. doesn't need any changes to his key map. Use the default key map for Mr. It just works. You have all your settings. And in 128 mode, so if you use the C128 emulator, you can actually flip between 4080 column video and everything. It works exactly like the regular 128 does, which is handy. So if you wanted to start with the Vice key mapping and then switch to custom, basically what it does is it copies all the Vice data over to the custom mapping. So now when you go into, let's say, a letter Q, you can see that the cross-point address is 67. Here's the USB HID address. And then you can actually add, inject, modifiers in as needed for if you got some strange keyboard or strange system that needs a oddball HID functions. Okay, if you wanted to swap the Q and the Z, so Q is 67 and the Z is 41. So we're going to make the Q 41. We're going to save it, and Z 67. And now if you press the Q, you're going to get a Z, and press the Z, you're going to get a Q. And that's only on the matrix output. So this is for the C128 with the cable. You would get that. For USB, I didn't change the USB HID code. So it's still going to be the exact same key press. You press the Q, it's going to get a Q. If you wanted to also change it for the USB, you would see 14 for that one and 1D for this one. So we're going to change this to 14. And we're going to change this to 1D. Okay, so now when you run a USB device like a PC keyboard emulation or Mr. or Vice, now it would actually output the USB codes swapped as well. So this is a way you can actually change your mapping, and you can change it for any single key. Doesn't matter which one it is. Just pick a key, click on it, make the change. Again, you've got to be on a custom map to do it. You can export your map, and you can import a map. So if you make a couple different types of maps, you want to export them. The export is JSON, so they're simple to edit as well if you want to later on. And that's basically, you can reset your map back to defaults. So now we can go back and see that this is set back to 67 now instead of being 41. Okay, let's go to the next one, which is firmware. So this is going to show you the current firmware version. And if you click, you can actually select a file. I'll have different firmware versions as they become available on the Discord. And you can actually download the firmware. You click on it, and it tells you the new version. And you click update, follow the instructions on the screen. It says it's updating, or actually say downloading first and then updating. And then it's done, and you have to reboot the keyboard at that point. There's also a box here to do reset preferences, and if you hit this and say OK, you're going to see that everything got reset. So macros, the LED patterns, everything got reset back to the factory defaults. So that's it. That's all the features that are in here. Basically, you can control the entire thing from your phone or from a tablet or your PC.